$5,000 by the number of users within the land or maritime borders of the U.S. determined to have accessed, maintained, or updated a foreign adversary-controlled application as a result of the violation. And A and B talks about, what are the subsection A or B? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, so it is illegal to provide services to distribute, maintain, or update such foreign adversary-controlled applications by means of a marketplace like an app store, or providing internet hosting services to enable the distribution, maintaining, or updating of such foreign adversary-controlled application for users within the land or maritime borders of the United States. So this is saying it's illegal to, it's illegal to, once TikTok is banned, you can't provide services to it. You can't provide internet hosting services to it. You can't have it on your app store. What happens to you if you break this law? Well, here's what could happen to you. This is what I was just showing you about the $5,000 here. An entity that violates subsection A shall be subject to pay a penalty basically of not more than $5,000 times the number of users who were able to use it, basically, or update their app because you helped it out. So if Google or Oracle, or as I read it, now this one is $500 down here, but as I read this here, subsection A is the one up here. Yes, so that applies to internet hosting services or to app stores. So if Google keeps it on its app store, or Apple keeps it on its app store, then they could have to pay a fine of $5,000 times the number of users that download it or update the app through the App Store. Let's say, now over 100 million users use the app in the US. So 100 million times 5,000 would be, let's see, 100 million times 5,000. 1,000 times 100 billion is 100 billion. Wouldn't it be 500 billion? Isn't 100 million times 5,000 500 billion? Yes, 100 million times 1,000 is 100 billion. So we're talking about $500 billion. If Oracle, and maybe like maybe $1 trillion. But these are the kind of fines we're talking about here. If Oracle or Google or Apple were to keep working with TikTok to keep it going after the ban takes effect, they could face fines of hundreds of billions of dollars. In theory, that doesn't mean they will, but they could. So for all you know, the lawyers at Google or Apple or Oracle are just like, I don't care if this thing is not being enforced right now. The government could change their mind. We need to not help them out right now. So anyways. But that's just, something that the law says. And the law is done to protect the national security of the United States from the threat posed by foreign adversary-controlled applications such as TikTok and any successor application or service and any other application or service developed or provided by ByteDance or an entity under the control of ByteDance. ByteDance also owns CapCut and Lemonade, which is why those have been shut down too. So there's the law right there. Whew, guys, it's been shut down. It's gone dark. TikTok goes dark in the US. Smoke Pall Mall says still up in Canada. Aldi B says they really did it. They really took TikTok for us. From us. Steakulator says, oh my God, it's not on the App Store. Bet a lot of people are just discovering this right now. My friend from California confirmed that he could not get it on in California. So now in California, In California, it stopped working around 7:30 Pacific time, right? Because it was around 10:30 Eastern time. So people in California, they might have thought they were going to get, at least 4.5 more hours of usage tonight. But it stopped. Wow. Popeye says censorship at its finest. Adrian R. says the fine would be $850 billion if 170 million people updated the app from the App Store. Thank you, Kieran. Kieran says, I trust China more than Zuckerberg. Thank you, Karma Slosin, our new member. Thank you, Julian Arizabal, who says, what about videos that were out on Facebook from TikTok? So I assume if you posted a TikTok video on another platform, the law doesn't talk about that. The law doesn't talk about content which has been exported. It just talks about the app itself. Thank you, Adrian R., for the gift membership. So nice of you. Thank you, Natalie Perkowski, who says, sometimes you need to shut your brain down. TikTok helped. I agree with you there, personally. Don't need to use it every day, but it has its uses. I really enjoyed it. I would use it a little bit each day, maybe late at night, before bed or something. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff on there. And not just stuff for kids, stuff for adults too. There's all kinds of topics. Stuff about food, about music. Also really like interesting people with interesting views I would never have found otherwise. About news, about sports, all kinds of stuff on there. Steve McFall says, I learned so much. Erica Morningstar, thank you. Melody Aceves, thank you. Hello Voltage, thank you. Andrew Schlegel, thank you. Andrew says, now that Elon is in the government, well, unofficially, how will he respond when other countries start banning X? Would be interesting if that happens. I mean, if a country, that's an interesting question. If a country had a dispute with X, like I remember Brazil had last year, I think it was, how might his being close to Trump impact that dispute? It's a fair question. Steve Sanderosa says Trump is going to bring it back. We should talk a little bit. I'm sure there are people out there wondering, like, so what are the chances of it coming back? So we should talk a little bit about that. Sarah Whittick Smith says, in what way was it a risk? The two risks that were seen about TikTok that led to this law being passed were, one, that so it's owned by a Chinese company. The Chinese company has ties to the Chinese government. So one risk was that the Chinese government could get from the Chinese company personal data of Americans that could present a security risk if the Chinese government had personal data. Now, I'm not, you might wonder, it's an interesting question of what do you mean? How would it be a security risk? Well, maybe there's personal data about you that you don't want to get out there. And TikTok finds out that stuff about you, and the Chinese government finds out about you, and they use it to try to blackmail you, right? This is just I have no idea if this is a scenario that was brought up, by Congress. But as an example, let's say there's something about you don't want made public, and the Chinese government finds out about it, and you have a security clearance. And somebody from the Chinese government sends somebody to talk to you, or they send you a message and they say, hey, you know this thing you don't want anybody to know? Well, we know that. So if you don't do X, Y, and Z for us, we're just going to make this public on the internet. I mean, it would, you see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that would have happened with TikTok. I'm just saying that's an example of a case where an app finds out data for you and it could pose a security risk to the country. I'm just throwing out an example, just to be an example. So one risk seen was personal data being obtained by the Chinese government. Also, maybe location data, sensitive location data about where certain people are. That may be something that could pose some sort of security risk. I don't know. And then the other risk was that This app, many people, the way they use the app is they let the app basically show it things to watch. You scroll through on your For You page, the app shows you different videos it thinks you're going to like. And the idea would be that China could use this app to influence American opinion, basically as a propaganda tool. The Chinese government could basically tell ByteDance, hey, start showing Americans more videos about this point of view. Or stop showing videos that say this, but show them more videos that say this. You know, you never know. So those are the two main concerns that I've seen with the app that led to the law. Personal data of Americans could end up in the hands of the Chinese government, and the Chinese government could use this app to influence American opinion surreptitiously. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find you some stuff about the prospects going forward here. So AP in their article tonight said, in an interview with NBC News on Saturday, President-elect Trump said he was thinking about giving TikTok a 90-day extension that would allow them to continue operating for 90 days. Now, for him to give this 90-day extension, certain conditions have to be met, and I don't know that they've been met. Let me show you, let me actually can go back to the law and see if I can find that in the law itself. Hold on a second here. Hang on. I'm sure it's in here, but I don't see... The law says, it says like if there's substantial progress toward a sale, that the president can give it a 90-day extension. But I'm trying to find that in the actual, I'm not seeing it in the text that I have. Hold on, do I have all the text here? Text 4, reported in-house, engrossed in-house. No, I have referred in Senate. Anyways, I can't find it in here. Oh, hold on. All right, let me just show you this. Anyways, in an interview with NBC News today, President-elect Trump said he was thinking about giving TikTok a 90-day extension that would allow them to continue operating. The federal law allows the sitting president to extend the deadline by 90 days if a sale is in progress. But no clear buyers have emerged, and ByteDance has previously said it won't sell TikTok. So now there is specific language in this law that says these conditions must be met if a 90-day extension is to be given. But I've also seen some commentary saying that maybe Trump could just, there's a way he could say the conditions had been met, even if not much had been achieved in terms of getting towards a sale. And he could say, oh, you know, a sale is closer, or substantial progress has been made, so we can do this extension. Now, I don't know if he tried doing that and the conditions really weren't met. Could it end up in court? Whether the conditions were met or not, I don't know. Also, you know, Congress passed this law. It might complicate his relations with Congress if he basically tries to go around a law that they passed and find some workaround to not enforce it. I don't know about that. But so I'm not clear on what, if he tries to give a 90-day extension, what are the chances of that being successful or not successful? I don't know. If such an extension happens, Trump said it would probably be announced on Monday. Okay. Now, if he announces the extension, let's say Trump comes out on Monday and says, I hereby announce a 90-day extension, but there's some question about the legality of his announcement. Maybe there's a question of whether these conditions in the law that were supposed to be met really are met. Would that be good enough for TikTok? Would that be good enough for the companies that work with TikTok, like Oracle and Apple or Google? Or might those companies say, you know, He's saying he's giving it a 90-day extension, but maybe in a week from now, there'll be a court ruling saying that he can't do that. So we're going to hold off until the court ruling. I have no idea. So I don't know if he were to make such an announcement on Monday, would TikTok come right back on or not? Beats me. No idea. No idea. On Saturday, artificial intelligence startup Perplexity AI submitted a proposal to ByteDance to create a new entity that merges Perplexity with TikTok US business. According to a person familiar with the matter, if successful, the new structure would also include other investors and allow ByteDance's existing shareholders to retain their stake in the company, the person said. Perplexity is not asking to purchase the ByteDance algorithm that feeds TikTok's user videos based on their interests and has made the platform such a phenomenon. Other investors have also been eyeing TikTok. Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary recently said a consortium of investors that he and billionaire Frank McCourt put together offered ByteDance $20 billion in cash. Trump's Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said last year he was putting together an investor group to buy TikTok, but I have not heard that there's anybody close to buying it. And you can see AP says no clear buyers have emerged. Carol Estrada says, what are we going to do? A lot of you are getting this on your phone tonight. Unbelievable. Hang on, let me check something here. BNO News posted this. TikTok is now banned in Afghanistan, China, India, Iran, Jordan, Kyrgyzstan, North Korea, Somalia, Uzbekistan, and United States. Marco Fasano says it's working fine in Mexico. Roz Alerts claims that I don't know if this is true. Roz Alerts claims this. I don't know that this is true. Roz claims that some 911 call centers have reportedly been receiving non-emergency calls from teens and children expressing their love for TikTok following its shutdown. I don't know if that's true. I haven't heard that myself. That's what Roz posted. Oh, you know what else? Hold on. This is interesting. Roz Alerts mentioned this as well. Roz Alerts said that, I checked this too. Roz Alerts said that VPN searches for VPNs on Google had surged and exploded. See what Roz said? Google search results for VPNs in the US have surged and exploded following the shutdown and banning of TikTok and other apps. So I actually checked this, and he is right. Look, let me show you here. VPN, search term VPN, interest over time. Let's go to past 90 days. That's the past 90 days. Past 7 days. That's the search for VPN past 7 days. You can't even really see it. Past day. There's the past day. Good catch by Roz Alerts. Dr. McRib says VPN's never been more popular. Some of our viewers said it worked for them with a VPN. A lot of our viewers said it didn't work for them with a VPN. Let's see here. Hang on a moment. Let me try to get you some more updates about this situation here. Hang on. Yeah, I want to try to give you some more updates about what is to come. What might we expect to come? Let me show you this. Let me show you this here. Check this out. So what might happen next? First of all, nothing's happening until at least Monday. Washington Post. TikTok probably will get a 90-day reprieve on ban, Trump says. Now, he says this. Is this true? I don't know. President-elect Trump said publicly today, Saturday, that he will probably give TikTok a 90-day reprieve from a U.S. ban set to take effect Sunday just before he takes office. I think that would be certainly an option we look at, he told NBC News. The 90-day extension is something that will most likely be done because it's appropriate. We have to look at it carefully. It's a very big situation. By the way, the 90 days requires that certain conditions have been met, and I don't know that those have been met. There has to be some significant progress towards a sale. Trump has said he will try to save TikTok from a federal law, blah, 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 blah. Trump is considering an executive order that could suspend enforcement of law for 60 to 90 days, but such a move would raise legal questions. Yeah, let me show you. The law allows the president to grant a 90-day extension of the ban deadline if there is evidence of significant progress toward a sale and binding legal agreements. Is there really evidence of significant progress toward a sale? I haven't heard of it yet. Might the Trump administration just try to claim there's significant evidence of a sale? I don't know. So he can't just say, you get a 90-day extension. The administration would have to meet these requirements in the law. One of our viewers said Elon will start TikToks. Mal XYZ says, is it even for sale? So the company, ByteDance, has resisted selling, and the Chinese government has said it opposes such a move. Could it be sold? I don't know. Is it really not for sale? Maybe. I mean, it's a good question. Maybe the Chinese government is just like, screw you. We're not going to sell it. We're not, I'm sure it doesn't play well in China, this idea that the U.S. could force China to sell this extraordinarily successful app to some American company, maybe, right? So I don't know how the Chinese government feels about it. I've also read that maybe China would try to use the whole TikTok thing as a bargaining chip in negotiations over tariffs. Trump has said he's going to put big tariffs on Chinese goods. So I have seen it raised, the possibility raised that maybe China would try to, trade selling TikTok for something else from Trump. If that's true, how long could that take? I don't know. Let's see here. There was something else. The Economist had something about this recently, too. Let me see if I can find what they had. Yeah, Economist had an article about a week ago. Let's see here. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, yeah, here it is. No, about a day ago, they had an article about this. Let's see, what was I going to read from that? Right, so look, The Economist says that Trump could, in theory, issue a 90-day extension. But issuing a 90-day extension to TikTok would require evidence of significant progress toward a sale of the app, which, according to The Economist, does not seem to exist. Trump also could instruct his attorney general not to enforce the law, as past presidents have done regarding the federal ban on marijuana. But see, that's not, but tech firms would be nervous of flouting the rules. So this article was written 2 days ago. I think the option of Trump just saying we're not going to enforce the law doesn't work anymore. Why? Because the Biden administration already said they're not going to enforce the law on Sunday. But TikTok already said we're shutting it down. It looks like Oracle there was reporting that Oracle, which works with TikTok, which provides it cloud computing services, reporting that's from the information that said that Oracle had started to shut down its TikTok servers tonight. So the point is, you can see Oracle prepares to start shutting down TikTok services at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, the information reports. The point is that companies that work with TikTok, that TikTok needs to work with it to get the app to users, they face major fines possibly for continuing to work with TikTok while it's banned, even if the ban is not being enforced. So given that TikTok has been shut down now, while I'm not aware that the ban is being enforced, I don't think it'll do any good if Trump says, oh, I'm just not going to enforce it, because it's already not being enforced right now by the Biden administration and shut down. So I don't think that's an option. So again, Trump did say today, I guess, that he said he will probably give a 90-day extension to TikTok. But as I said, I don't mean to be sounding like a broken record. I've given you multiple sources that say the 90-day extension requires there to be significant progress having been made toward a sale. There's no news that there is such progress. Could the Trump administration try to claim there's such progress anyway? And what would happen if they tried to claim there was such progress, even though there really wasn't such progress? That I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what will happen in that case. But from what I'm reading, it seems like that could happen. It seems like that would happen. Now, ID thinks Trump won't do that. I haven't checked my TikTok app in a while. It says not available now. I close it. I open it again. Same thing. Exact same thing. Let's see here. Now, one of our viewers mentioned that Trump was going to be conducting
order rejected.
Immigration raids, deportation raids in Chicago. Is he really going to be worried about TikTok? There's reporting out there that claims that that immigration raids will that deportation raids are going to start on Tuesday. I don't know how much of Trump's time it would require to try to get this 90-day extension to try to do it. I mean, maybe he just says to some staff, you're experts on this, write something up for me to sign, write up an order, and he signs it and they come out with it and see what happens. John thinks he can solve TikTok with a pen. It's just not clear. Kieran says Trump will unban it to be cool with the youth. I don't doubt that he might want to unban it. I don't know that he can unban it. It's not clear, just like that. Or also, if it's a 90-day extension, even if he did do a 90-day extension, so would it just come? What's the best case scenario? He gives it a 90-day extension, and then it comes back for 90 days, and then what happens? And then it just gets banned for good if it doesn't get sold after 90 days? Don't know. Are people who live near the Canadian border, are people who live near the Canadian border crossing the border into Canada to use TikTok? That's a question I have. Wow, this really did happen. It really happened. Can you believe it? Justice then says, I'd be willing to bet yes, people are crossing the border to use it. Doreen Weir says, Elon to the rescue, create another TikTok. Sama says it's unreal. It really is unbelievable. I have not processed it. I will process it after the stream when I kind of, normally like I maybe use it a little before, like I go to sleep. Right around that time, I'm going to go to use it and be like, I literally can't use this thing. It doesn't work anymore. Our viewer, Sassy Sasquatch, says 90-day extension, just get banned again. And another one of our viewers said the extension won't do anything if ByteDance can't sell it, basically. Our viewer, Penguin3, says, I never use TikTok. I hate short form content, but shame for those who used it. Krazik says, it's crazy to think about a massive social network getting banished. You know, another crazy thing about this is I live in the United States. I'm not aware that there was a general outcry for this in the United States. You know, it'd be one thing if like TikTok did something which made like everybody in the country really hate it and call up their congressmen or women and say, you have to ban this thing. I'm not aware that there was this groundswell of angry calls from the American public to ban TikTok, which is really interesting. You know, it'd be one thing if that happened. Joe R. says 90 days for them to line some political pockets and get the decision reversed. BDK from Australia says, hot take, YouTube shorts are better than TikTok. Thank you, BDK. Thank you, OPR357, who says, what if Facebook or X have already come up with their own platform similar to TikTok? Look, YouTube has YouTube shorts. Instagram has Instagram Reels. These are short form videos, and you can scroll through them kind of like TikTok, but I know a bunch of people just prefer TikTok. And they don't have the, you know, it's not the exact same people, it's not the same exact feeling, and not the same algorithm. You know, TikTok, what really makes TikTok for a lot of people is that algorithm, that computer program basically that tells TikTok what to show you next, and gives you new stuff that it thinks you'll like. Kodiak Jedi says, what makes TikTok so valuable is that algorithm. My Melanin says the algorithm could read your mind. But people also like, you know, the platform is a certain way. There's a certain user interface. The chatting is a certain way, and things look a certain way, you know. I gotta say, something I will also miss as someone who covers news, specifically breaking news. I have found that sometimes it is one of the platforms that people do live stream on. There was a live stream. We did a stream a few months ago when we covered a hurricane, and there was somebody live streaming on TikTok. And I actually ended up I got the person's permission and I showed some of their stream on my stream. But, you know, especially among younger people, that's where they would go to live stream. And so I've seen a bunch of weather streams and other people stream all kinds of stuff. And not just live streaming, people also after a news event, like will post videos that they've taken, you know, if something happened. And some people just use TikTok, so that's where they're going to post their video. And it has been a really good source for certain news stories of finding videos about it, and that's just gone. Yeah. O Fuchs says, shout out to Ray who covered the Florida floods. Thank you, Matthew Felty, who says, I recommend Wristwatch Revival channel. I don't know if that's a TikTok channel or not. Captain Jerry Donnelly, thank you, says, middle school teachers and parents of teens will see grades go up. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously very popular among young people, but a lot of adults really like it too. Also, I mean, there were a lot of celebrities and politicians had started to use it and present like a different side of themselves. For example, one channel I would watch sometime is the drummer Stuart Copeland from The Police. I guess I'm aging myself again, but he used TikTok and he posts some really interesting videos there. You know, it just some celebrities and politicians felt comfortable using TikTok in a way to just speak to camera in a way that they didn't on other platforms. Also, there's all kinds of very popular, singers and stuff use it, and they post little messages and stuff on it as well. There's all kinds of celebrities use it, younger ones. Just post somewhere else. I don't know if they'll feel comfortable doing it. Maybe they will. I don't know. Thank you, the Ravenous Drifter. Oh, thanks for the shout out on Roz Alert Spaces. Ravenous Drifter, thanks for mentioning that. Thank you also, Nick Van MZ, who says if you don't have the algorithm, it's not going to be the same app anymore. Look, I don't even know if I've tried Instagram Reels, but I've tried YouTube Shorts before, and it doesn't feel the same. I mean, maybe some people like YouTube Shorts better than TikTok. Go try YouTube Shorts as an alternative, but it doesn't feel the same. It clearly feels different on a different platform. So yeah, certainly TikTok, that algorithm made the experience special for a lot of people. I was reading an article last night that said that the TikTok would be the purchase price would be significantly lower without the algorithm because the algorithm is so valuable. Thank you also, Phobiarg, who says the concerns with TikTok aren't because of the average user. It was used to build profiles in order to learn who could be coerced to harm the U.S. security. That's what Phobiarg thinks. Thank you. I mean, I think there was a concern with possibly the app being used to shape opinion in the U.S. among the general user base. I remember there was this debate, and I don't remember the specifics, but when the Israel-Gaza war, I think it was when it started, when the Israel-Hamas war started in Gaza, I remember there being this debate about is the app favoring people with certain views? Am I seeing more views for one side than the other side on this app? Now, I don't know the specifics of all this and everything, but that's the type of thing. Look, I mean, there's worries in the U.S. that China could try to invade Taiwan. If that got closer to happening, I think there might be governmental worries in the U.S. that maybe the app would start pushing videos that kind of support the Chinese side maybe more, I don't know. So I know this was a concern, that general concern. I'm not telling you what to think about it. Thank you, SuckYouLed, for your support. Who said TikTok alternative Clapper is down due to traffic. I've never heard of it. Also, thanks to all of our moderators who are here. We have Ruth Kafasi, Beth Mythical, Janet B. It's incredible. It really has been shut down by the government. All of our YouTube moderators, thank you. Linda Belk and Larry on X. Over there on Twitch, Daily Disclosure Hearsay, I got that fired. Mark HNC, and Surly Dev. Also, our Facebook moderators like Kay Lowry Body, and our other Facebook moderators. Thank you. I wonder there was reporting suggesting, like Axios had reported, that a number of members of Congress who voted for this bill, because the bill passed with bipartisan support. There was a bunch of reporting out there, like for example, from Axios, that people from congressmen and women who had voted for this, a number of them were now kind of like reconsidering and actually didn't want this ban to take effect because they realized how unpopular it might be. So I don't know. It's possible that that if this ban came up for a vote again and it hadn't been voted on yet, it would not go the same way. I don't know if members of Congress realized or now think, oh, this is more unpopular than I thought it would be. Also, maybe members of Congress voted for the bill thinking, they'll just sell it. It's never going to get banned. It'll just get sold. So I don't know. Again, Axios had reported that, for example, that there was a lot of opposition now among people who had previously supported it. See if I can find that. I mean, Axios had reported a couple days ago, politicians were scrambling to save TikTok. They also said that they pointed out that Trump himself tried banning TikTok in the waning days of his first term. And they also point out that Ed Markey, who was an original ban supporter, co-sponsored a bill that would give it a reprieve. They said Axios claimed that much of the opposition in Congress to TikTok appeared to be folding. But they passed the law, and there you go. Now we have the app shut down. Wow, it really did shut down. All right, hang on a moment here. Let us try to get you some more updates. Hey, thank you so much, Ariel Raufogel, Channel Ariel. I really appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Also, Van Dan, that's so generous of you as well. Van Dan, thank you. Van Dan says, I'll just miss the battles on the live streams. I had a few folks I supported, and I would just go in and annihilate people's entire teams by myself. LOL, something fun about that. Are you talking about like gaming, Van Dan? Because I know I saw people stream. There were gamers who streamed. There were a lot of musicians who live streamed. Another popular genre of live streaming was people who would go to like Disney World, or people who would walk around cruise ships and live stream, or people who would travel. That was actually kind of an interesting. I watched a number of those videos. You could always pretty much find somebody walking around some different country, live streaming it and showing you some country. I was watching somebody from Switzerland last night, actually, walking around. So those were interesting. Thank you so much, Van Dan. Thank you also. John Payne says, just use a VPN. Pick a server outside of the US to route your traffic through and you'll be able to connect. That's what John says. Now, I don't know if that works. Maybe it will. I do think a lot of people won't do that, either because they don't know how to use it, or they don't want to pay for it, or they just don't want to bother. You might say everybody can just use it. But I don't know if it would work for everybody, but just the nature of it is a lot of people will not do that. But John suggests you use a VPN. Thank you, John. Thank you also, our viewer from Canada, who says if you cross the border to use TikTok, you need a life. Fook says, I tried VPNs, it didn't work for me. Fraggle Rock says people tried a VPN, it doesn't work. Other of our viewers are saying it works. I have heard a bunch of people in our chat say it doesn't work, but a few have said it did work. So I can't speak to that myself. Laura Jane Thompson says it won't work as your TikTok account has your country in it. You would need to set up a new TikTok account. Josh says some VPNs might be blocked. hang on, let me see if I have any updates for you here. I really think it's incredible that this actually happened. I can't believe it actually happened. I really did not think this was going to happen. I mean, in the last day, I thought it would happen. You know what happened? The big thing for me was when TikTok posted last night that they were going to shut